Hello! In the previous lecture, we saw how to perform a man-in-the-middle attack by using command line tools like bridge control. In this lecture, we will discuss about another utility that can help us performing the man-in-the-middle attack, and this time is a graphical interface utility called Ettercap. So here I am in my Kali Linux machine running on VirtualBox and using the bridge adapter type of connection in order to connect the client to the host system. I will log in into the system by using the root account. Next, we are going to open up a new terminal window and perform a search for the Ettercap utility. Ettercap is available as a graphical interface as long as a command line utility. In order to search for a specific package, we are going to use the apt-cache utility this time. We'll pass the search keyword as an option, which allows us to search for the package that we will specify next. And the package that we want to search for is Ettercap. We can see that there are several versions of Ettercap available. One called Ettercap-graphical, the one that we are going to use in this lecture, and another one called Ettercap-text-only. While you can install both of these versions, we will only use the graphical version in this lecture. So in order to install it, I will use the apt-get install Ettercap-graphical command, followed by the -y option, which instructs the apt-get utility to run in the non-interactive mode. During installation, I am asked if I want to keep the current configuration file or to let the installer overwrite it. That's because I have the Ettercap text-only or command line utility already installed. I will choose to keep this configuration file, and after a few moments, the installation has completed. Now let's run the application, and we can do that by typing Ettercap followed by space and -G option, which instructs Ettercap to run in graphical mode. And this is how the application is looking. Let's start our man-in-the-middle attack. For that, we go to the sniff menu and select Unified Sniffing from here. You can also use the Ctrl+U keyboard shortcut. Next, we are asked about the interface that we want to use for sniffing. In our case, this will be the Ethernet interface, as this one connects our client system, the Kali Linux machine, to the host system, my Windows machine. At this time, we don't have a wireless adapter connected to the machine, so only the Ethernet and the loopback interfaces are available. As discussed, we will choose Ethernet. Then we need to scan for available hosts in our network in order to find a victim. For that, we go to the host menu, and from here we select Scan for hosts. After a few moments, we can see that Ettercap has found 7 hosts available in our local area network. Let's see what these hosts are. We navigate to the same host menu, but this time we select the Hosts List option. This will display a list of available hosts in our network. These are our potential victims. We will need to specify one host that will be our gateway, the router in our case, the one that connects the whole network to the internet. In my case, the gateway IP address is the first one, 192.168.1.1. I will select this one and will click Add to Target 1. The second one will be our victim. For simplicity, let me choose my host system, the Windows machine, to be our victim, so I can easily demonstrate this type of attack. The IP address of this system is the second one in my list, 192.168.1.10. So I will select this one and will click Add to Target 2 button. Now that we have both our gateway and our victim, we can start the actual attack. For that, we navigate to the MITM menu, and as we can see, there are several ways to perform this attack. The one that we are going to use is ARP poisoning, which is the simplest type of attack. From the window that appears, we will select Sniff Remote Connections, and we are good to go. We can see in the log panel that the attack has started and our victim has been ARP poisoned. One last thing we need to do is to enable sniffing, which will capture the victim's traffic and will display the credentials in case these are found. For that, we go to the Start menu and select Start Sniffing. We can see in the log panel that unified sniffing has been started. Now let's switch to our victim system, which in this case is my main operating system, Windows 8.1, and let's open a browser. Let's first navigate to the routers page and pretend that we want to make some changes in the router's configuration. For that I will type 192.168.1.1, my router's IP address. The interface has been displayed, so everything appears to work as expected. Let's go to the status page and we are asked for the username and password that will allow us to visit that page. While the username is root, let me enter 123456 into the password field and see what happens. Let's press the login button and we are not able to log in as I entered a wrong password. But let me switch to the Kali Linux machine, the one that initiated the man-in-the-middle attack. On the log panel of Ettercap, we can see the HTTP request performed to the 192.168.1.1 IP address, along with the username, which is root, and the password that I entered, which was 123456. So we were able to sniff or capture these credentials and display them into the log window. Instead of using multiple utilities to accomplish this task, we only use the graphical interface of Ettercap, which has done all the job for us. Now, we are able to capture these credentials because the connection to the router was not encrypted in any way. This was not a secure connection or one that is using HTTPS or SSL. But what happens if we want to capture the credentials of a secure connection? For that, let me switch to my host system, the victim in our case, open a new web page and navigate to facebook.com. As we can see, facebook.com is using a secure connection or HTTPS. We can tell that by the HTTPS string at the beginning of the URL, which is written in green. We can click the green lock in order to obtain more information about this connection. Okay, so let me enter a wrong password here, actually a random text, and see if we are able to obtain it as a credential in Ettercap. I pressed the login button and of course I was not able to log in as I entered a wrong password. Let's switch to Ettercap running in Kali Linux in VirtualBox and surprise! This time we were not able to capture and display the credentials. Why is that? Well, that's simply because the web page that we try to access, facebook.com in this case, was using a secure connection. Instead of HTTP, they use HTTPS by encrypting the communication between the user and the server. So Ettercap was not able to capture and decrypt this information for us. We can only use Ettercap to sniff insecure connections like the one that goes to our router administration page or any website that is not using HTTPS. As Google will now penalize the websites that are not using a secure connection in their search engine, most of the websites these days are using a HTTPS or secure connection. Now that we saw how this type of attack is working, if you decide to stop the attack at any time, you can go to the MITM menu again and select Stop MITM Attacks from here. So this is how you can perform a man-in-the-middle attack from Kali Linux using Ettercap graphical interface. The same type of attack can be performed by using the text-only or command line interface of Ettercap. But using the graphical interface makes the whole process a bit easier to implement. Thanks for watching.